What's going on, y'all? It's your man Vic, and I'm the house owner of Columbia. And I'm coming to bring y'all a real quick video. I'm actually getting ready to head out on vacation for the first time this year. I've taken some, little here and there things going out of town with the family, like for my daughter's birthday back in April. But first vacation, family vacation, we do it every summer. So taking the time to go. But before I do, I want to talk to you guys about some fears going on when it comes to the housing market. You're seeing things on the news, you're talking to friends and family, Google, YouTube, all these different things about a pending drop in the economy or housing burst. The bubble's going to burst. And what I want to tell you guys is it's not something to be worried about. Back in 2007, 2008, I was not in real estate at that time. I was actually in the military. So I was in the Army. I think I was in Fort Benning, Georgia. Just got back from Iraq. So I wasn't too worried about the housing crisis and all that type of stuff because, hell, if I didn't have a place to stay, I was going to have a barracks to go to. So at the end of the day, and I was too worried about my soldiers and deploying and all this other type of stuff. So that really wasn't on my mind at that time. But I am a student when it comes to my craft and whatever I'm doing. So naturally, I know all about it. I watch the news all the time, even back then. So it wasn't something I didn't know about at all. But it was a big issue. And here's why it was a big issue at that time. At that time, lenders were lending people money for homes they could not afford. So they were basically throwing these loans out there, people getting $300,000 homes that were just renting the month before, and now they got a $300,000 loan. They weren't verifying income, they weren't checking, tax statements and none of that to make sure these people could actually afford the home. Reserves, making sure you had that in the bank. It just wasn't happening. So it was not a good checks and balances when it came to purchasing a home. So naturally, when the market crashed, people couldn't afford homes. They couldn't pay their notes. People were losing jobs. That's why you had so many foreclosures. That's why, if you realize now, there aren't as many foreclosures out there, not good deal foreclosures. Now, that's a good deal for somebody like me that likes to invest in homes, that I like to purchase low, renovate, and, rent or sell back, flip. But if you're trying to look to live in that home and thinking you're going to get a great deal, it's not always the case. You'll find better deals on short sales. Because the lender wants the money from the person that had the home. They're agreeing to sell it, which is a short sale, short of what the person actually owes, and they're just wanting to get it off of their hands. So you can find good deals with short sales. Foreclosures you can find as well. There just aren't as many out there. But back to my main point is the reason there aren't as many foreclosures is because people can actually afford the homes they're in now. It's very rare that a lender is going to let somebody get in that home without vetting them properly. They're going to make sure that they check, the last 2 or 3 check stubs. They're going to check the last 2 years of tax records. They're going to verify with employers that this person is actually working. If you own your own business, and this is very important, if you own your own business, and you're trying to write off taxes, write off things to get money back, you need to stop doing that. If you're trying to purchase a home and you turn that tax record in and they see you took a loss for the last 3 years, they are not going to give you a loan for a home. And if they do, it's going to be very low because you're telling them, I'm taking losses, I only make this much. So you need to think about delayed gratification and not thinking about getting that tax money back every year. Write off, just to get a big check. No, you need to actually show what you're making. You're going to have to bite that bullet, even pay back Uncle Sam, And I know all about having to pay back Uncle Sam when you're in a particular tax bracket. But it's worth it in the end when you're running a business, because you're able to get business loans, you're able to get purchase homes, you can get cars in a business name. These type of things that you cannot get if you're writing off and your tax returns are looking like you're taking a loss every year. So the housing market, please do not be worried. Don't be scared. Don't be afraid to go out and buy a home worrying about the housing market, because like I said, people, the lenders are vetting people now. You can not even purchase a home without having the right income, without having a certain amount of money in your bank account to show reserves for your down payment if you have one, to show reserves for your first 90 days of payments. So they want to even make sure that whatever your payment calculates out to based on the mortgage insurance, the taxes, all those type of things that are in escrow and your mortgage, whatever it comes up to, they're going to make sure that you have at least 90 days in the bank account. And if you have a down payment, that money is in there as well. So they're not letting people get homes that can't afford it. So we don't have to worry about people losing jobs, not being able to afford these homes and all that type of stuff, because the banks have done a great job vetting them now. So that's one thing that we don't have to worry about. And if it is something you're worried about, do not let that deter you from buying something. Even if you want to buy lower, think about it. If you know you can afford right now a mortgage of $1,500 a month, then find you something where the mortgage is $1,200 or $1,000 a month. Go a little lower, because you're giving yourself that cushion in case you were to lose your job or something like that, or came on hard times. So think about that. The other thing to think about is, if you're worried about a housing market crash, go buy a multifamily home. You can buy you a duplex, buy you a fourplex, and one of those units are empty. You can use an FHA government loan, and what you'll do with that is you'll live in one side. Your mortgage will be let's say $500-$600 a month, depending on what you get. And then now your tenant you're renting out to, you're ensuring that that person's rent is covering everything. So you're not paying anything. So if you're ever worried about a housing market crash, that's something you can think about as well. Just live in a multifamily home where you're getting your mortgage paid by a renter, or buy something a little lower to give yourself some cushion so you won't have to worry about any housing market crash. But I don't think that's anything we have to worry about now, guys. It's just a quick video I wanted to do to let you know, do not be afraid. Go out there and buy. Call your man Vic. I'm the House Son of Columbia. You guys have a great and blessed day. And if you need me, houseofcolumbia@gmail.com. Hit me up on Facebook at Victor Hugie, Instagram, any of those things. I'm your man. All right? Holla.